Story 1. I've been a flight attendant for 12 years now. I've seen drunk passengers, medical emergencies, people trying to join the Mile High Club, even someone trying to open the emergency exit mid-flight because they needed fresh air. You develop a sixth sense for spotting trouble before it escalates. This particular flight was a standard route from Chicago to Denver. Not long, just under 3 hours. We had a full plane economy completely packed, first class about 3/4 full. I was working first class that day, which honestly is usually the easier assignment. People pay extra, they tend to be calmer, less likely to cause problems. We'd finished boarding, done our safety demonstration, and were about 10 minutes from pushback. I was doing a final check of the cabin when I noticed someone in seat 2A who definitely wasn't supposed to be there. I'd checked in the passenger for that seat personally, a businessman in a suit who was already settled in with his laptop. But now there was a woman in athletic wear sitting there, and the businessman was standing in the aisle looking confused. Me, excuse me, is everything all right here? Businessman, I stepped away to use the restroom, and when I came back, she's in my seat. Woman, this is my seat. Me, may I see your boarding pass, ma'am? She handed it over, and I immediately saw the problem. Her seat was 32B, row 32, economy, window seat in the back of the plane. Me, ma'am, your assigned seat is 32B, that's in the main cabin. Her, I know what my ticket says, but I'm sitting here. Me, I'm sorry, but this is first class. Your ticket is for economy. You'll need to move to your assigned seat. Her, the airline overbooked my comfort level. I have a medical condition that requires me to sit in first class. Me, if you have a medical need for specific seating, that would need to be arranged before the flight through our special services department. Do you have documentation? Her, I shouldn't need documentation. This is discrimination. I'm a paying customer. Businessman, I paid for this seat. I'd like to sit down. Me, sir, I apologize. This will just take a moment. Ma'am, you need to return to your assigned seat now. We're about to depart. Her, I'm not moving. I have just as much right to sit here as anyone else. Me, actually, you don't. First-class tickets cost significantly more than economy tickets. If you'd like to upgrade, we can discuss that, but the price difference for this flight would be around $600. Her, $600? That's robbery? The seats are barely different. The businessman gestured at the considerably larger seat with extra legroom, the footrest, the personal entertainment screen. Businessman, they're pretty different. Her, I have anxiety. Flying in those cramped seats triggers my anxiety. This is a medical issue. Me, I understand flying can be stressful, but your ticket specifies seat 32B. If you refuse to move to your assigned seat, you won't be able to fly today. Her, you're going to kick me off the flight for wanting to be comfortable. This is outrageous. My supervisor had noticed the commotion and walked up. Supervisor, what's going on? Me, this passenger is sitting in 2A. Her assigned seat is 32B. She's refusing to move. Supervisor, ma'am, I need you to move to your ticketed seat immediately, or we'll have to remove you from the aircraft. Her, this is discrimination against people with anxiety. I could sue you for this. Supervisor, you're welcome to pursue that. But right now you have two choices. Move to 32B or leave the plane. You have 30 seconds to decide. She looked around, probably expecting support from other passengers. Instead, people were staring at her with annoyed expressions. We were delaying the flight, and everyone knew it was because of her. Her, fine, but I'm filing a complaint. She stood up dramatically, grabbed her bag from the overhead bin, and started walking toward economy. I escorted her down the aisle to make sure she actually went to her seat. As we walked through the plane, I heard a few passengers whispering. One guy muttered something about entitled people. When we got to row 32, she threw herself into the middle seat, not even her assigned window seat. Me, ma'am, 32B is the window seat. Her, oh my God, you're seriously going to make me move again? The person in the window seat, A teenage girl spoke up. Girl, that's actually my seat. I'm in 32B. Her, whatever, we can switch. Girl, but I wanted the window. Me, ma'am, sit in your assigned seat. Now. The woman huffed loudly and squeezed past the girl to get to the middle seat. The poor guy in the aisle seat looked like he was already regretting this flight. I walked back toward the front, and as I passed through economy, several passengers gave me sympathetic looks. One woman actually whispered, "Good job," as I went by. When I got back to first class, the businessman was settled in his seat, looking relieved. Businessman, thanks for handling that. Does that happen often? Me, more than you'd think. People try to upgrade themselves pretty regularly. We finished our final checks and got clearance for pushback. I was hoping that was the end of it, but about 40 minutes into the flight, I got called to the back. The woman had apparently been complaining loudly to anyone who would listen about being discriminated against and forced into substandard seating. She'd tried to convince the people around her to file complaints with her. Then she'd gotten up and tried to sneak back into first class again. One of my colleagues had caught her trying to sit in an empty first class seat. Colleague, she says the seat's empty, so she should be allowed to sit there. Me, ma'am, we already discussed this. Return to your seat. Her, this is ridiculous. There are empty seats up here. Why can't I sit in one? Me, because you didn't pay for them. Final warning, go back to 32B and stay there, or we'll have authorities meet the plane when we land. Her, unbelievable. I'm never flying this airline again. Multiple passengers. Good. That's when it happened. As she walked back to economy, people started clapping. Just a few at first, then more joined in. By the time she got to row 32, at least 20 people were applauding her removal from first class. Her face turned bright red. She sat down without another word. We landed in Denver without further incident. As passengers deplaned, several people stopped to thank us for handling the situation. The businessman from 2A even left a note with his business card saying he appreciated professional service. The woman filed a complaint like she promised. Our supervisor responded with the security footage and my detailed incident report. The airline sent her a form letter explaining fare classes and appropriate passenger behavior. She never got a refund, never got an apology, and according to our system, she's never flown with us again. Just like she promised. Story 2. I've owned this small bakery for about 7 years now. Started it after I got laid off from my corporate job and decided to pursue my actual passion. It's been hard work, early mornings, long hours, tight margins, but I love it. We make everything from scratch, and we've built a solid base of regular customers who appreciate quality baked goods. It was a Tuesday afternoon, relatively slow. I was behind the counter helping my employee restock the display case when this woman walked in carrying a plastic container from a big box store. I could see the label through the clear lid, definitely not from our bakery. Her, hi, I need you to decorate this for me. She set the container on the counter. Inside were a dozen basic cupcakes, the kind you get in the grocery store bakery section for $8. Me? I'm sorry, what? Her? These cupcakes, I need them decorated. It's for my son's teacher appreciation thing at school tomorrow. Me, ma'am, those aren't our cupcakes. Her, I know that. That's why I'm here. They look so plain, and I need them to look nice. You guys are bakers, so I figured you could fix them up. Me, we don't decorate cupcakes that weren't purchased here. We sell our own cupcakes, and we can decorate those for you. Her, but I already have these. I just need you to make them look better. Me, I understand, but we can't do that. If you'd like decorated cupcakes, we have fresh ones right here that I can customize for you. I gestured to our display case, which had beautiful cupcakes we'd made that morning. Her, how much are those? Me, $3.50 each, or $40 for a dozen. Her, $40? These only cost me $8. Me, our cupcakes are made from scratch with premium ingredients. The price reflects that. Her. That's insane. Look, I'm a loyal customer. I come in here all the time. You should just decorate these for me as a courtesy. I'd never seen this woman before in my life. Me, I'm sorry, but I don't recognize you. When was the last time you were in? Her. Well, I drive by here all the time. I'm a loyal customer in spirit. I always think about stopping in. My employee, this college student who works afternoons, turned away to hide her smile. Me, that's not really how loyalty programs work. But regardless, we don't decorate outside products. It's a liability issue, and it's not fair to our business. Her. A liability issue? They're just cupcakes. Me. We have no idea what's in those, if they were stored properly, or if anyone has allergies. If someone gets sick, we could be held responsible. Her. No one's going to get sick. They're from a grocery store. Me. Then I'm sure they're fine as they are. Her. They look cheap. I can't bring these to school looking like this. People will think I don't care. Me. You could buy our cupcakes, which are already beautifully made. Her. I told you, I'm not paying $40. Just put some frosting on these. It'll take you 5 minutes. Me. It's not about the time. We don't work on products from other businesses. That's pretty standard in any bakery. Her. This is terrible customer service. I should be able to just get a little help without jumping through hoops. Me. You're asking us to improve a competitor's product for free. That's not customer service, that's asking us to work for nothing while helping another business. Her. Competitor? It's a grocery store. Me. Yes, a grocery store with a bakery section. That's a competitor. Her. Oh my God, you're being ridiculous. Fine. How much would you charge to just add some frosting flowers or something? Me. We don't offer that service at any price. If you want our decorating work, it comes with our cupcakes. Her. So you're refusing to help me? Me. I'm offering to sell you cupcakes. That's literally my job. Her. You know what? Forget it. I'll just do it myself. She grabbed her container and started toward the door, then turned back. Her. You just lost a customer. My employee couldn't help herself. Employee, a customer in spirit. The woman's face went red. Her. Excuse me? Employee. You said you're a customer in spirit. So, technically, we didn't lose anything. Me. Hey. But I was trying not to laugh. The woman sputtered for a second. Her. You're both incredibly rude. I'm going to leave a review about this. She stormed out. The door chimed behind her, and my employee and I just looked at each other. Employee. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. Me. No, you shouldn't have. But it was pretty funny. Employee. Do you think she'll actually leave a review? Me. Probably. Sure enough, the next morning there was a 1-star review on our page. Refused to help a loyal customer. Wanted to charge me $40 for cupcakes I could get elsewhere for $8. Extremely rude staff made fun of me. Would give 0 stars if possible. Supporting small businesses isn't worth it when they treat you like this. I thought about responding, but figured it wasn't worth it. Most people can read between the lines on reviews like that. Then other reviews started appearing. Just read the 1-star review from the lady with the grocery store cupcakes. I was in the bakery when this happened. She literally brought in cupcakes from another store and demanded free decorating. The staff was completely professional. She was not. Been a customer here for 3 years. They're always friendly and their products are amazing. Some people just want everything for free. Loyal customer in spirit has me dying. Lady, that's not how businesses work. The review actually ended up helping us. People found it entertaining, and we got a small surge of customers who mentioned they'd seen the drama online and wanted to support us. A few weeks later, a woman came in who looked vaguely familiar. She ordered a half-dozen cupcakes and paid without issue. As I was boxing them up, she smiled. Her. My sister's the one who came in with the grocery store cupcakes. Me. Oh. Her. Don't worry. I told her she was being ridiculous. Your cupcakes are beautiful, and they're worth the price. Sorry about all that. Me, I appreciate that. Her, she did end up decorating them herself. They looked terrible. She left with her cupcakes, and I never saw either of them again. But we still get the occasional customer who references the customer in spirit review. My employee wants to put it on a t-shirt. I told her absolutely not, but honestly, I'm tempted. Story 3. I've been a lifeguard at this public beach for 4 summers now. Started when I was 19, needed a summer job during college. Now I'm done with school and working full-time for the parks department, but I still love this job. Sun, ocean, helping people beats sitting in an office. Our beach gets crowded on weekends, especially during summer. It's a popular spot, free parking, clean facilities, nice stretch of sand. We've got clear rules posted everywhere about where people can set up, how to stay safe, basic beach etiquette. Most people are fine. They come, they enjoy the water, they leave. Easy. This particular Saturday was packed. Must have been 85 degrees, not a cloud in the sky. Perfect beach day. I was up in my lifeguard chair scanning the water when I noticed some commotion down the beach to my left. A woman was walking between groups of sunbathers, stopping at each one, clearly talking to them. I couldn't hear what she was saying from my chair, but I could see people's reactions, confusion mostly, some shaking their heads. She'd talk for a minute, gesture around, then move to the next group. I radioed my supervisor. Me, hey, got someone walking around bothering beachgoers. Section C, near the dunes. Supervisor, what's she doing? Me, not sure yet. Just talking to people, but they look annoyed. Supervisor, keep an eye on it. Let me know if it escalates. I watched her approach another group, a family with little kids building a sandcastle. She stood there talking and pointing. The dad stood up, clearly saying something back to her. She put her hands on her hips. Not good body language. Me, it's escalating. Family looks upset. Supervisor, I'm heading over. I saw my supervisor walking down from the main station. The woman was now at a 5th group, college-aged kids with a volleyball. Before my supervisor could get there, one of the kids pointed toward the parking lot, probably telling her to leave them alone. My supervisor reached her just as she was moving toward another group. I couldn't hear the conversation, but I watched it unfold. The woman was animated, arms waving, pointing at all the beachgoers, then pointing at the water. My supervisor's body language was calm, trying to de-escalate. The woman shook her head aggressively. Then she started walking toward more groups again. My supervisor followed her, radio in hand. Supervisor over radio. All guards, we've got a situation. Woman's harassing beachgoers. Says people need to move closer together because they're blocking her ocean view. Me, her ocean view. She's on a public beach. Supervisor, yeah, I explained that. She's not listening. Another guard, where does she even want to view from? Supervisor, she set up right at the dune line. Says she shouldn't have to look at people when she looks at the water. I scanned the dune area and spotted her set up a beach chair, large umbrella, cooler, the whole 9 yards. She positioned herself at the back of the beach, farthest from the water, and was apparently upset that there were people between her and the ocean. On a public beach. In summer. The woman was now at another group, and I could see she was getting more aggressive. Someone stood up, a guy who looked pretty irritated. Time to get involved. I climbed down from my chair and jogged over. By the time I got there, the woman was in a full argument with a couple who'd been peacefully reading books on their towels. Her, I'm asking nicely, just move 10 feet closer to those people, and then everyone shifts down, and I can have an unobstructed view. Man, lady, we're not moving. We got here early to pick this spot. Her, I have just as much right to enjoy this beach as you do. You're ruining my experience. Woman on towel, then sit closer to the water if you want to see it. Her, I don't want to sit near the water. I want to sit in the shade by the dunes. But you people are ruining the view. Me, ma'am, I'm going to need you to stop bothering other beachgoers. Her, I'm not bothering anyone. I'm trying to organize a simple solution so everyone can enjoy the beach. Me, everyone is enjoying the beach. Except you, apparently. Her, because they're being selfish. Look at all this space. If everyone just moved a little closer together, there'd be clear sight lines for everyone. Supervisor, ma'am, this is a public beach. People are allowed to set up anywhere in the designated areas. You don't get to dictate where others sit. Her, I got here at 7 this morning to get a good spot. I shouldn't be punished for that. Me, you picked a spot far from the water, and now you're mad there are people between you and the water. That's not everyone else's problem. Her, this is discrimination. I'm being excluded from the beach experience. Man on towel, you're excluding yourself. Just move your chair closer to the water like a normal person. Her, I don't want sun exposure. I have sensitive skin. I need the shade. Woman on towel, then you chose shade over view. That's called a trade-off. Her, I shouldn't have to choose. This is a public beach. That means accommodating everyone. Supervisor, it also means you don't get to control where other people sit. This is your final warning. Stop harassing beachgoers or you'll be asked to leave. Her, asked to leave? I have a right to be here. Supervisor, you have a right to use the beach. You don't have a right to harass other people using the beach. Her, I'm not harassing anyone. I'm trying to create a better experience for everyone. Me, nobody asked you to do that. Everyone was fine until you started bothering them. She looked around, clearly expecting support. Instead, she saw dozens of annoyed faces staring back at her. The family with kids, the college students, the couples, all watching this unfold. Her, fine. If you won't help me, I'll move myself. Supervisor, good idea. Her, I'm moving to a spot where inconsiderate people won't ruin my beach day. She marched back to her setup and started packing aggressively, making sure everyone could see how put out she was. She kept muttering loud enough for people nearby to hear. Her, unbelievable. Pay taxes for this beach. No consideration. Public property means everyone. She dragged her chair and gear closer to the water, found an empty spot, and set up again. About 5 minutes later, a wave came in higher than expected and soaked the edge of her towel. She jumped up, moved her stuff back several feet, and set up again. Now she was sitting in full sun, no shade, surrounded by families with splashing kids. My supervisor and I exchanged looks. Supervisor, problem solved? Me, I think the beach solved the problem for us. We headed back to our stations. I climbed back up into my chair and resumed watching the water. About 20 minutes later, I saw her packing up and leaving. One of the college kids she'd bothered earlier noticed too and started clapping. Then others joined in the family, the couples, random people who'd witnessed the drama. By the time she trudged across the sand toward the parking lot, at least 30 people were applauding her departure. She didn't look back. My supervisor radioed me. Supervisor, did people just clap her off the beach? Me, they absolutely did. Supervisor, first time for everything. The rest of the day was peaceful. People enjoyed their spots, kids played in the water, everyone had a good time. Exactly how a beach day should be. No more requests to reorganize the entire beach for one person's viewing pleasure. At the end of my shift, the family with kids stopped by my chair as they were leaving. Dad, thanks for handling that earlier. She came up to us 3 times trying to get us to move. Me, just doing the job. Sorry you had to deal with that. Mom, our kids thought it was hilarious when everyone clapped. Made their whole day. After 4 summers of this job, I've learned that beaches bring out the best and worst in people. Some come to relax and enjoy nature. Others come expecting the ocean to rearrange itself for their convenience. The ocean doesn't care either way. Neither do the lifeguards. We're just here to keep people safe and occasionally escort entitled people to less shaded, more wave-accessible locations. Story 4. I've been working at this gas station for about 6 years now. Started as a cashier, worked my way up to assistant manager, It's not glamorous, but I've seen just about everything: people driving off with the pump still attached, someone trying to pay with Monopoly money, a guy who insisted on filling up jerry cans in his trunk until I had to stop him for safety reasons. You learn to expect the unexpected. This happened on a Friday evening during rush hour. We're located right off a major highway exit, so we get slammed between 5 and 7 when everyone's heading home from work. All 8 pumps were occupied, and there was a line of cars waiting on the side for spots to open up. I was inside restocking the cooler when my coworker called me to the window. "Coworker, you need to see this." I looked out at pump 5. A woman had finished fueling. I could see she'd hung up the nozzle, but she was just sitting in her car. Door open, one leg out, like she was relaxing. Meanwhile, there were 3 cars waiting for pumps, and people were starting to look irritated. Me: "How long has she been there?" Coworker: "At least 5 minutes. She finished pumping, went inside to pay, came back out, and just sat down." Me: "Is her car broken down?" Coworker: "Nope. She's on her phone, just sitting there." I watched for another minute. A guy in a pickup truck who'd been waiting pulled up behind her and gave a quick, polite honk. Just a little beep to let her know someone was waiting. She didn't move, didn't even look up. The pickup honked again, slightly longer this time. She held up her hand in a wait gesture without turning around. Me: "Oh boy, I better go out there." I walked outside and approached her car. She was scrolling through her phone, completely relaxed, like she was sitting in her driveway. Me: "Excuse me, ma'am? Are you all set here?" Her: "Oh, yeah, I'm done pumping." Me: "Okay, great. Could you pull forward so others can use the pump?" Her: "In a minute. I'm just taking a moment." Me: "I understand, but we have people waiting. If you need to take a break, you can park over there in those spots." I pointed to our parking area with about 10 empty spaces. Her: "I'm fine right here, thanks." Me: "Ma'am, you're blocking the pump. Once you're done fueling, you need to move." Her: "I am done fueling. Now I'm airing out my car's vibes." Me: "I'm sorry, you're doing what?" Her: "The gas fumes create negative energy in the vehicle. I need to let the space breathe before I drive. It takes about 20 minutes. I stared at her, trying to figure out if she was joking. Me: "20 minutes? Her: "Yes. It's very important for my well-being." Me: "Ma'am, you can't occupy a pump for 20 minutes after you're done. People are waiting." Her: "That's not my problem. I need this time for my spiritual practice." The pickup truck honked again, longer this time. A car in the waiting line joined in. Her: "This is harassment. Tell them to stop." Me: "They're waiting to use the pump that you're blocking. You need to move your car now." Her: "I told you, I need 20 minutes. Why is everyone so impatient these days? We're all too rushed, too stressed. That's why I do this, to create moments of peace." Me: "Create moments of peace in a parking spot, not at an active fuel pump." Her: "The universe put me at this pump for a reason. I'm supposed to be here right now." A sedan that had been waiting laid on their horn, a long, sustained blast. The woman jumped. Her: "That's it. I'm calling the police. This is harassment." Me: "Ma'am, you're trespassing if you don't move. I'm the one who'll be calling the police." Her: "Trespassing? I'm a paying customer." Me: "You were a paying customer. Now you're someone refusing to leave a fuel pump after completing your transaction. That's loitering, and it's preventing other customers from accessing our services." Her: "This is discrimination against people who practice mindfulness." Me: "This is a business refusing to let one person monopolize resources that other paying customers need to access." Another car honked. Now there were 4 vehicles waiting, and people were getting genuinely angry. One guy got out of his car. "Waiting customer, lady, move your car. Some of us have places to be." Her: "See? Harassment. You're all witnessing this." She pulled out her phone and started recording. Her into phone: "I am being harassed at this gas station for taking a moment for my mental health." Multiple people are honking at me, and the employee is threatening me. Me, I'm asking you to move to a parking space so others can fuel their vehicles. Her, demanding that I leave before I'm ready. This is toxic masculinity and capitalism at its worst. Waiting customer, I'm a woman, and I also want you to move. A woman from another waiting car had gotten out too. Her, this has nothing to do with masculinity. You're being selfish. The woman in the pump looked genuinely shocked that another woman wasn't supporting her. Her, you're all infected with hustle culture. Nobody understands the importance of stillness anymore. Me, final warning. Move your car to a parking space, or I'm calling the police and having you trespassed from the property. Her, I'm calling corporate. What's your name? Me, my name tag is right here. And corporate will tell you the same thing: you can't block a fuel pump indefinitely. Coworker over the radio. Boss, should I call the cops? Me into radio, standby. I looked at the woman. Me, you have 30 seconds. Move to a parking space or I make the call. Her, this is outrageous. I know my rights. Me, 20 seconds. Her, you can't just. Me, 15 seconds. The people waiting started counting down with me. Out loud. Waiting customers, 14, 13, 12. Her, stop that. You're all bullies. Waiting customers, 10, 9, 8. Her, fine, I'm moving, but I'm never coming back here. Waiting customers, good. She started her car, slammed her door, and peeled out of the pump area. But instead of leaving, she pulled into a parking space about 50 feet away. Then she got out of her car, pulled out her phone, and started recording the gas station. The pickup truck immediately pulled into the pump she'd vacated. The driver rolled down his window as I walked past. Driver, thanks for handling that. What was her deal? Me, apparently she needs to air out her car's vibes for 20 minutes after pumping gas. Driver, her. What? Me, yeah. He just shook his head and started fueling. The woman stayed in the parking lot for another 10 minutes, recording, probably hoping something dramatic would happen that she could use for her complaint. Nothing did. People fueled up and left. Business as usual. Finally, she got back in her car and drove away. My coworker came out. Coworker, she left a 1-star review already. Says we violently forced her out of the pump and that we're hostile to alternative lifestyles. Me, did she mention the airing out vibes part? Coworker, no, weirdly she left that out. Me, of course she did. I went back inside, finished restocking the cooler, and helped the next rush of customers. About an hour later, my manager called. Manager, did you kick someone out today? Me. Technically, I asked someone to move from a fuel pump to a parking space after she'd been blocking it for 10 minutes post-fueling. Manager, she called corporate. Said you threatened her. Me, I told her I'd call the police if she didn't stop blocking the pump. We have it on security camera. Manager, yeah, I figured. Corporate watched the footage. They're backing you completely. She's banned from all locations. Me, she said she'd never come back anyway. Manager, they always do. 6 years of working here, and I've learned that gas stations attract a special kind of chaos. But someone blocking a pump to air out their car's vibes during rush hour, that was definitely a first. And hopefully a last. Story 5. I've been working retail at this department store for about 4 years now. Started during college to help pay for books and rent, and somehow I'm still here even after graduating. The job market wasn't great when I finished school, so I stayed on full-time while I figured out my next move. The pay isn't amazing, but my coworkers are decent and my manager mostly leaves me alone to do my job. You develop a thick skin working retail. People yell at you about prices you don't control, policies you didn't create, products that corporate decided to discontinue. Most of the time I just smile, apologize for whatever isn't going the way they want, and try to solve the problem. Kill them with kindness, that's the strategy. but some days test that strategy more than others. It was a Wednesday afternoon, middle of the week, not particularly busy. I was working the register in the home goods section when this woman came up to return a blender. No receipt, no box, and the blender looked like it had been used pretty heavily. There were dried smoothie residue around the blade area and scratches on the base. Me, hi there, how can I help you? Her, I need to return this, it doesn't work. Me, okay, do you have your receipt? Her, no, I bought it months ago. Me, without a receipt, I can only offer store credit, and I'll need to see your ID to process the return. Her, why do you need my ID? That's an invasion of privacy. Me, it's store policy for returns without receipts. It helps prevent fraud. Her, are you accusing me of fraud? Me, no ma'am, it's just standard procedure for all no receipt returns. She huffed but handed over her ID. I scanned it, and the system immediately flagged her account. Me, okay, so it looks like you've reached your limit for no receipt returns this year. Our policy allows 3 per calendar year, and you've already done 3. Her, that's ridiculous, I need to return this. Me, I understand, but without a receipt and with your return limit reached, I can't process this. Do you have the receipt at home? If you can bring it in, I can do the return with that. Her, I don't keep receipts, that's why you have computers, look it up. Me, I can try to look it up if you used a credit card. Do you remember which card you used? Her, I don't remember, it was months ago, just take it back. Me, I'm sorry, but I need either a receipt or your credit card information to look up the purchase. Without those, and with your return limit reached, I can't help you. Her, this is unacceptable. The blender doesn't work. I shouldn't have to keep receipts for defective products. Me, if it's defective, you might be able to contact the manufacturer directly. They often have warranties. Her, I'm not calling some manufacturer. You sold it to me, you deal with it. Me, we did sell it, but our return policy requires documentation or available returns on your account, which you don't have. Her, let me talk to your manager. Me, of course. I called my manager over the radio. He was helping someone in electronics, but said he'd be over in a few minutes. The woman stood there tapping her foot, glaring at me like I'd personally wronged her. When my manager arrived, I explained the situation. He looked at the blender, looked at her account on the screen, and gave her the same answer I had. Manager, I'm sorry, but the policy is 3 no receipt returns per year. You've used all 3. If you can find the receipt, we'll be happy to process the return. Her, this is discrimination. You're refusing to help me because… Manager, we're following the same policy that applies to every customer. I'm sorry, but there's nothing we can do without a receipt or credit card to look up the purchase. Her, fine. What's your name? She turned to me aggressively. Her, give me your name. I'm reporting both of you. Me, my name's on my name tag. I pointed to the tag on my chest. She squinted at it. Her, turn around. I can't read it from here. Now, here's the thing. I'd been having a long day. A long week, actually. I'd been working extra shifts because 2 people called out sick. I was tired, and I'd already dealt with 3 other difficult customers that day. Something in me just snapped. Instead of turning so she could read my tag, I flipped it around backwards so the blank side faced out. Then I pointed to the large security mirror mounted on the wall behind me. Me, that's your name right there. You're the problem. There was dead silence for about 3 seconds. My manager's eyes went wide. The woman's mouth fell open. Her, excuse me. Me, you heard me. You've been standing here yelling at me for 10 minutes over a return you can't prove you purchased here, demanding I break policy, and now you want my name so you can complain that I followed the rules. The problem isn't me, isn't my manager, isn't this store, it's you. Her, how dare you speak to me that way? Manager, hey, let's everyone just… Me, I've been polite. I've explained the policy. I've offered solutions. You've rejected all of them and decided to be hostile instead. I'm done pretending that's okay. Her. I want to speak to the store manager. Not this idiot, the real manager. Manager, I am the store manager. Her. Then I'm calling corporate. Give me the number. Me? It's on our website. You can look it up. Manager, okay? I think it's time for you to leave. Her. Leave? You're kicking me out. Manager, you're being disruptive. You've gotten the answer about your return, and now my employee is being disrespectful because you've pushed him too far. The conversation is over. Please leave. Her. I'm never shopping here again. Me, promise. Manager, dude. But he was trying not to smile. She grabbed her blender and stormed toward the exit, yelling about lawsuits and corporate complaints the whole way. Other customers who'd been watching actually applauded as she left. A couple of them came up to me afterward. Customer, that was amazing. I've wanted to say something like that to rude customers for years. Another customer, she was out of line. You just said what everyone was thinking. My manager pulled me aside once she was gone. Manager, that was incredibly unprofessional. Me, I know. I'm sorry. Manager, but also kind of amazing. Don't do it again though. I can't protect you if you make a habit of this. Me, understood. Manager, seriously though, the mirror line? Where'd that come from? Me, honestly, no idea. Just came out. I did get written up for it. My manager had to document the incident since she was definitely going to call corporate. But he also noted in the report that the customer had been verbally aggressive and that I'd attempted to help her multiple times before losing my composure. She did call corporate. They reviewed the security footage, saw her yelling and being hostile, read my manager's report, and basically told her the same thing we did. Store policy is store policy, and no receipt means no return after hitting the limit. The write-up stayed in my file, but nothing else came of it. My coworkers thought it was hilarious. For weeks afterward, anytime someone was being difficult, they'd radio me and ask if I needed to show them the mirror. I'm still working there, still dealing with difficult customers. But I'm a lot more careful now about keeping my frustration in check. That said, I don't really regret it. Sometimes people need to hear that they're the common denominator in all their problems. And sometimes a mirror is the best reflection of the truth.